very large industrial complexes don't really produce beautiful architecture. Because of how they look, we tend to try and hide them from our eyes. We cluster them into big industrial zones, and then we locate those industrial zones on the outskirts of cities, out of sight, out of mind. But when it comes to desalination, it's not that easy, because these plants require direct access to salt water. And here in Australia, that typically means being located on big, open, beautiful beaches. So the challenge then becomes, how do you build an enormous industrial complex in the middle of a gorgeous natural preserve?
One of the world's biggest desalination plants is Dubai's Jebel Ali complex, sprawling more than 700 acres and consuming 2 miles of coastline. The ideal spot for Melbourne's desalination plant, 55 miles from the edge of the city, is Williamson's Beach, home to the endangered hooded plover and 124 native plant species. Architects had to make the world's 6th largest desalination facility disappear. So instead of a building made of concrete and steel, they found a more local solution: sand dunes.
If someone says to you, design a building and make it disappear, I think the first and most obvious decision is just hide it from view.
Yes.
And instead, you guys have done something very different.
We've integrated it in with the landscape, and that is the overriding design impulse. It's the total integration of buildings and landscape.
You created new dunes that then wrap the site and then actually become part of the building.
Yes, exactly.
Because they've survived here for hundreds of years, so who better than they to protect the roof of the building?
Yes. The plants provide a wonderful insulation against the roof being attacked by corrosion.
The team is covering the 280,000 square foot desalination building with one of the largest living roofs in the world. 7,000 tons of native plants effectively insulate the building and reduce factory noise, with an added benefit. Just like on a dune, the vegetation prevents the decay of the building underneath by keeping out corrosive salt air.
So as I look at the building, instead of seeing kind of a big metal building with a flat tin roof, instead I'm actually going to see kind of a green landscape that rises up, frames the building, and then creates actually a living vegetative surface on the top of it.
Exactly right. And not only that, the angles on the roof actually mimic the dunes around, as well as the vegetation on the roof is the same vegetation that you're finding in the area. So we're keeping it all within the same context of the environment.
Workers first erect an 85-foot-high structural frame made of galvanized steel, then cover it with 438 roof panels, each weighing 8 tons.